Well, good morning, everybody. Boker Tov, good morning. Good morning. Thank you all for being here today. Thank you for being part of this very special school-wide and community-wide assembly. Today we have students from kindergarten all the way to the 10th grade. Look around the Zoom room. Kindergarten to 10th grade. Thank you all for being here. Welcome to all of our students. Welcome to all of our parents joining us today. And welcome to all the young people and adults of our community. For making this experience possible, we want to thank Temple Sinai's Racial Justice Committee, chaired by Zach Gershon. I wonder if we can spotlight Zach there for everybody to see. Zach and family.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, there they are. Thanks to Zach and his Racial Justice Committee, and thanks to our Social Action Committee chaired by Carol Cornell. I'm not sure if Carol's with us this morning, but Jason, if you can find her, we want to spotlight Carol and thank her.
I don't know if I see her this morning.
Okay, all right. Well, so maybe she'll join us a little bit later. And for making this experience possible, we want to thank our temple and our religious school education director, Carolyn Moore-Musso. And let's spotlight Carolyn. There she is. Thank you, Carolyn. And to all of our teachers and teaching assistants, thank you. Thank you for what you're doing today. Well, as many of you know, this month of February is Black History Month here in America. This has been a time for us to celebrate the many, many achievements and contributions of Black people in our country. It's been a time to honor them. This year, while we've been celebrating all the extraordinary and everyday achievements of Black people in America, we are also greatly aware that there's still a lot of prejudice and racism and injustice that they're experiencing in this country. And it's so deeply sad and it's so troubling. As we all know, African Americans were enslaved in this country for hundreds of years. And American society has still not come to grips with all that that means for the past and the present and for our future. The sad truth is that today, over 150 years since the Emancipation Proclamation abolished slavery in 1863, still 158 years later, Black people in America continue to experience prejudice and injustice and sometimes terrible violence. You and I know how unjust and how unfair and how wrong that is. We know it deep in our hearts and our minds, and we also know it from our Jewish tradition. The Torah and our Hebrew prophets and our ancient teachers and rabbis and our Jewish values tell us again and again and again that prejudice and injustice and treating people badly because of the color of their skin or the way that they look or where they're from or who they are, that is all wrong. It's wrong and it's harmful. In Judaism, the effort against that goes all the way back to the beginning of the Torah, to the creation of the first human being. The Torah says that God formed the first human being from the dust of the earth. From the dust of the earth. Our ancient rabbis added to that by saying God gathered the dust for the first human being from every corner of the earth. God gathered it from the east and from the west, from the north and from the south. And the rabbis say God took yellow clay and white sand from all over the world to make the first human being. God took black earth and red soil from all over the world. All the colors of the earth from all over the world, God used to create human beings, our rabbis taught. Why? Why? Well, it's to teach you and me, and to teach all people, that the earth itself is saying to everyone, the earth is saying to everyone, you belong here. This is your home. This is your rightful home. Judaism teaches that everyone belongs. Everyone is equal. Everyone, no matter their differences. And to make this even more clear, our ancient rabbis teach that the reason the Torah says we all come from that first human couple called Adam and Eve, the reason we all come from that first human couple, well, that's not meant to be a science lesson. That's meant to be a moral lesson. By saying we all come from Adam and Eve, the Torah is saying that everyone alive and who's ever lived, we are all their descendants. We are all their children, hundreds and hundreds of generations later, teaching us that no person can ever say, my ancestors are greater than yours. No, we all come from a common ancestor, and we're all part of the same human family. And because we're all part of the same human family, we need to see each other as brothers and sisters. We're all brothers and sisters who have the same rights. We're all to be treated equally, our tradition teaches us. Wouldn't the world be so much better if everyone really understood that? Wouldn't the world be so much better if everyone really lived that? Treating others like that's how it can be, and that's how it should be. But we know not everyone does that, right? Not everyone does that in our society. And that's why Judaism asks every person to be just and to be fair and to be kind, to help make the world better. To do in Hebrew, tikkun olam, which is to be God's partner in helping fix the world and fix our country and our society, and sometimes to fix ourselves. So there's true equality and justice for all. That's what Judaism asks us to do. And that's what we hope to experience today. Today, we're all going to take a journey toward racial justice. And to lead us on our journey together, we are so very honored to welcome and introduce to you Reverend Gary Bernard Williams. Jason, I wonder if we can also spotlight Reverend Gary. So as I'm introducing everybody to him, there he is. There's Pastor Gary. So I want to tell you all a little bit more about Pastor Gary, and then he's going to say hello and he's going to lead us. Pastor Gary was born and raised in Los Angeles, and he is the senior pastor of St. Mark United Methodist Church in the heart of South Los Angeles. Pastor Gary is passionate about congregation revitalization and spiritual transformation and community engagement. He has a prophetic, like the prophets in the Bible, he has a prophetic and progressive and transformative vision of what South Los Angeles can be. Pastor Gary is a graduate of Claremont School of Theology, and he's an ordained elder in the California Pacific Annual Conference. He's also co-chair of the board of directors for CLU LA. Some of us here at Temple Sinai have been affiliated with CLU. And he's the vice chair of the CalPAC Conference of Justice and Compassion Ministry team. In addition, Pastor Gary is a leadership fellow in Phase C2 and a founding member of the Full Circle Recovery Ministry, a Christian-based 12-step group. And if that weren't enough, he's also involved in Faith in Action, a grassroots organization working to end gun and gang violence in South Los Angeles. Talk about Tikkun Olam and making our world better. Pastor Gary's doing it. Temple Sinai is so deeply honored to welcome Pastor Gary Williams. Good morning, Pastor.
Good morning, Rabbi Rick. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the introduction. Good morning again. Thank you, Rabbi Rick. Thank you for the invitation and also for the introduction. Thank you, Zach, for first approaching me about being a part of today. I am grateful to be here. It's exciting for me as well. I want to say hello to all the young people, to their families, and it's just good to be among you today and be a part of your community today. So thank you so much. Yeah. So are we ready to go? Okay. All right. Great. Jason, can you put up the first slide? There we go. All right. So what is racism? We want to talk a little bit about race. So have you ever had to fill out paperwork or in school that asked for your race? Maybe you saw choices like Hispanic or white or African American. The word race is used to describe people based on their physical appearance, often using the color of a person's skin to identify them. Race is also the root word of racism, which is when a group of people is treated unfairly because of their race. Some groups of people are even treated violently, as Rabbi Rick had already said. Unfortunately, racism has happened all over the world and has been with us for as long as anybody can remember. Last year, after the brutal killing of George Floyd, who was a Black man, by a Minneapolis police officer, Derek Chauvin, who was white, people began to take notice of the unfair treatment that Black people received from law enforcement. Who here knows about, I'm going to talk about Sesame Street for a minute. Are there any fans of Sesame Street? Have any of you watched Sesame Street? I have, yes. And so in the wake of this national conversation and reckoning on race, Sesame Street did a really good workshop for young people, teaching them to take a stand against racism. And so we're going to go there now. Jason, would you go to the next slide?
Daddy, Mama doesn't understand. What's happening? Why are these people together?
Oh, well, they're gathering together to protest.
Protest? Mama doesn't understand. What's a protest?
A protest is when people come together to show they are upset and disagree about something. They want to make others aware of the problem. Through protesting, people are able to share their feelings and work together to make things better. They make signs like this.
Ah.
Yeah, I'm bringing this sign to the protest at the community center later.
No. They look upset. Are the protesters sad?
They are sad and upset, and they have every right to be, Elmo. People are upset because racism is a huge problem in our country.
Racism? What's that?
Oh, racism is when people treat other people unfairly because of the way they look or the color of their skin.
The color of their skin? Elmo doesn't understand, Daddy. Elmo has friends with different types of skin. Oh, and fur, too. Black, brown, pink, purple.
I know, Elmo, but not all streets are like Sesame Street. I mean, on Sesame Street, we all love and respect one another. Across the country, people of color, especially in the Black community, are being treated unfairly because of how they look, their culture, race, and who they are. What we are seeing is people saying enough is enough. They want to end racism.
No. I want us to end racism too. I want us everybody to be treated fairly.
Who could use a hug from their best friend right now? Who could use one?
Me, Van, me.
Me too. Now, Erica, do you remember that amazing hug between those little guys, Maxwell and Finnegan, those best buddies?
Yes.
All right, we checked in on them. Take a look.
What's your name?
Marshall.
What's your name?
It was Maxwell's last day of school at his first daycare. We were on the same sidewalk. They saw each other and then just started running towards each other. It's just a great moment.
Maxwell and Finnegan really complement each other well. Finnegan is a little bit of a daredevil, but Maxwell is more like the voice of reason. They challenge each other. They have a really special friendship.
Bye, Finnegan. I love you. Bye.
Let's hear from Big Bird Sesame Street neighbors, Gordon and Maria. They're going to help us answer this important question.
Nana used to protest in the 1960s. Why do we have to do this again and again and again?
That's a good and important question. Like your Nana, I remember the civil rights marches back in the 60s. And here we are again, marching and speaking up for change, just like before.
Unfortunately, this change has taken a very long time. It's frustrating and unbelievable to me that we're still fighting the very same fight and dealing with the very same issues that we dealt with on Sesame Street in 1969. It breaks my heart. No child or grown-up should have to deal with being treated unfairly. We've got to change the course of history now.
That's why people are again protesting, marching, and speaking up, so that your Nana, you, and everyone else never has to experience racism again. I've been so inspired by seeing the protests and heartfelt messages that people, young and old, have been sharing. It gives me hope that this time, change will happen.
I have hope too, mucha esperanza, that if we keep on marching and if we keep on speaking up, people will be respected equally. Stay safe.
And make your voices heard.
Jason, do you have control again now?
Yeah, I'm just,
Thank you. Thank you, Zach, for being able to show that.
thank you, Zach.
So at the end, there's another clip as well. So you need to be prepared for that.
The caterpillar and snail clip,
Yeah.
that one we have ready, yeah.
Oh, good. Okay, great. So as you watch that video clip, I was just wondering if you could think of other groups of people who have also been treated unfairly. Maybe you know of them. Think about it. So I'd like to go to the next slide. Yeah. This is an interesting slide. The next three slides are kind of role reversals. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what is social justice. How many times have you heard that's not fair? Only to hear that, well, life is not always fair. While you were probably talking about not being able to do something or go somewhere and you thought it was unfair. There's a difference in social justice, the unfairness of the way people are treated. So social justice, the general idea of social justice is that every institution in our society should allow equal opportunities for all people. So when you look at this slide, you see the image of a little girl looking at a wall full of dolls. None of the dolls look like her. That's something that a lot of people of color, especially Black people, had for years, where little girls were never able to get dolls that look like them. So let's go to the next slide, Jason, thanks. Again, is this something that looks like it's based in reality? It's usually the other way around. Think about all the privileges and opportunities available to you on a daily basis. You get to attend school and receive an education. This then gives you the skills that you need to get a good job where you can make money that then you can later spend to buy a house. Don't these sound like rights that everyone should have? Yes, they do. Let's go to the next slide. And finally, again, does this look like is there something wrong with this image? It's reversed again. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about discrimination. When someone does not have the same access to rights and privileges due to discrimination, that is a direct threat to social justice. Social injustice occurs when a person or people or a group of people are treated unfairly based upon who they are, their race, their gender, or their religion. So as you look at these images, can you think about a time when you personally have experienced social injustice, or a friend or family member has experienced social injustice, or have even witnessed social injustice? And finally, let's go to the last video clip.
In a garden, there's a caterpillar and a snail, and they're basically best friends. They hang out 24/7. They do dinner, movie nights, crafts. Oh, and they're like really into cosplay on top of like whatever else caterpillars and snails do, like eat leaves or something. Anyways, one day they're on their way to a party that's right outside the garden, and they have to go through the fence to get there. So the caterpillar goes right through, but the snail is stuck. Her shell is just too big and it won't fit under the wire. So she's like, crap, I can't get through. Maybe like, can you lift up the wire, or maybe we can build a little bridge or something? And the caterpillar's like, dude, just go under. But she can't. There's just no way that the shell is going to fit. And the caterpillar's like, go under, come on, we're going to be late, and I'm trying to hook up with that super cute ladybug. But it's not happening. The shell will not fit under the wire. And at this point, Snail's getting kind of frustrated because it's not like she doesn't want to go to the party, but for some reason, Caterpillar just isn't getting it. Yeah, it's not that easy for me. I just can't crawl under the fence like you can, so I would really appreciate your help here. Maybe we can like go a different way, and this just like sets the caterpillar off. What the heck? Just because I can crawl under stuff doesn't mean that I have it easy. Do you even know what it's like to have 16 feet? You don't, because finding shoes is a complete nightmare. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm not saying you have it easy. I'm just saying I can't go under the fence because of my shell. That's it. I have a shell and you don't. And there's some stuff that's easier for you that's harder for me. Just like I don't know jack about finding shoes because I don't have feet. Caterpillar thinks about this for a second and realizes the snail is right. I mean, he's never had to think about shells or slimy trails, and that's a privilege that the snail has never had because she has to think about that stuff all the time. That's part of being a snail. And it's kind of like that for everyone, right? I mean, we all have our own struggles and challenges, and some of them are small and some of them are huge and really unfair and beyond our control. And a lot of the time, it can be hard to see what someone else deals with because you've never been in their shoes or shell. I mean, like maybe you're gay or trans, have a disability or different religion, or of course the obvious one, you're a member of a different race. I don't know what it's like to be you, and you don't know what it's like to be me. So it's really important to stop and try and see the other side so we can help each other overcome those obstacles together. It's like sometimes you're the snail and sometimes you're the caterpillar. Oh, yeah. Okay, so then the snail and the caterpillar figured out that if they went to the other side of the garden, they could get through a little break in the fence. And while it took a little longer to get to the party, they did the trick together, which is what made it so great. So they got to the party, the caterpillar hooked up with the ladybug, snail taught everyone how to do the wobble, and the party was everything. The end. This video was illustrated by the very talented and lovely Kat Black and written and narrated by yours truly, Cheska Lee. Please check out Kat's channel and don't forget to subscribe. Bye!
All right, I hope you enjoyed that. All children want to grow up in a world free of bias, discrimination. Everyone wants to reach for their dreams and feel that whatever they want to accomplish in life is possible. We all want to feel loved and all want to feel included and never want to experience the pain of rejection or exclusion. Discrimination hurts and it leaves scars that can last for a lifetime. So we all need to celebrate and value and honor our diversity and be proud of who we are, who our families are, our culture and our traditions. So I'm asking you all, let's all learn to respect and value each other's, regardless of the color of our skin, our physical abilities, our language, our religion, or whatever it is that makes us different. We are all really the same, as the rabbi said at the beginning. And so that's it. I just want to thank you for letting me be a part of this today. And I'll turn it back over to the rabbi.
Thank you, Pastor Gary. Thank you so much for that very wise presentation and very helpful. I know I learned a couple of things, and I imagine that our boys and girls and we all learned many things from that. So Pastor Gary and everybody, what we're going to do now is we are going to invite our students to go into their classroom. I'm sorry, no, we're not. We're going to call upon Cantor Alyssa because Cantor Alyssa has prepared very special song and music for today.
Yes. Hi, everybody. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to teach you about a really beautiful and important song that I think really resonates with our topic for today. And maybe you've heard of this song before, but maybe a lot of you haven't heard of it before. Sometimes it's referred to as the Black National Anthem. It's a wonderful song called Lift Every Voice and Sing. And so I wanted to teach you a little bit about this song, and I wanted to play a video for you so you have the opportunity to hear some wonderful people singing this song. So I'm going to share for a second here some of the lyrics. Now, this song, what's one of the wonderful things about this song is that it was kind of born out of the struggle that Black people have faced in this country, and it has a beautiful tone of, hope for the future. So lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. That's the first part of the song. I'm going to share a video with you now so you have the opportunity to hear it sung. It's very beautiful. So I hope you enjoy it.
Civil rights activist James Weldon Johnson wrote Lift Their Voice and Sing as a poem, which was set to music by his brother John Roseman Johnson in 1899. The song is now known as the Black National Anthem in America. It is a protest, a hymn, and a prayer of profound significance for our people. We lift every voice and sing to express ourselves. We lift every voice to show that we have strength in numbers and we will not be silent. We lift every voice and sing to be lifted, liberated, and free.
Freedom, the power to determine action without restraint, Freedom, the absence of or release from ties, obligations, or restrictions. Freedom, the ease or facility of movement or action. Freedom, frankness or boldness in manner or speech. Freedom, a political right. Until we are all free, none of us is free. Black lives matter. Black lives matter. Black lives matter.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the roaring sea. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chasing rod. Those in the days when hope unborn had died, yet with a steady beat have not our weary feet come to the place from which our fathers sighed. We have come over a way that with tears has been watered. We have come treading our path through the blood of the slaughtered. Out from the gloomy past, till now we stand at last, where the white gleam of our bright story stands. God of our weary ears, God of our silent tears, thou who hast brought us thus far on the way, thou who hast by thy might led us into the light. Keep us forever in the path we pray.
Thank you, Cantor. Thank you for sharing that. Very moving. Very moving. Well, we're going to lift our voices. We're going to lift our voices today for freedom and equality and for better understanding of the things that Pastor Gary shared with us today. Pastor Gary, the students are getting ready now to go into their classrooms. Tell us your schedule. Are you able to be with us 30 minutes from now when we all come back together? I know you're a very busy man.
Absolutely, I can come back.
Oh, wonderful. Welcome back, everybody. It's good to see you. So we'll give it 1 or 2 more minutes. And while we're waiting for everybody to come back in, we want to again thank our Racial Justice Committee chaired by Zach Gershon. And it includes on the committee Donna Barr and Kate Curtin and Dave Quast, Kim Selfon, Ruth Goldstein, and Tina Lowenthal. So thanks so much to our Racial Justice Committee. Thanks again to our Education Director, Carolyn Mormuso. Thank you to all of our teachers. Thank you for all that you are doing as we journey toward racial justice. And Pastor Gary is, oh my goodness, Pastor Gary is back. Pastor Gary, good to see you. I want to let everybody know that Pastor Gary, after he had this wonderful presentation at the beginning, he then went to lead worship service because today is Sabbath in his church. And so Pastor Gary, thank you so much for spending time with us today. Your very busy schedule. You bless us with your presence. And we would love to take this opportunity, and boys and girls, we'd love to have this opportunity with Pastor Gary to, if you have a question of Pastor Gary or something, a comment for what Pastor Gary presented today, a question or a comment, if you'll please put it in the chat box. You can chat directly to me, and I am gonna then start opening it up for people to we're gonna start talking together as a whole group. We'll all talk together, and we are so blessed to have Pastor Gary lead us. And so if you'll put in the chat box, if you have a question for Pastor Gary or a comment of Pastor Gary's wonderful and wise and compassionate presentation today, if you'll please put that in the chat box. And I want to mention too, we thank the Racial Justice Committee. We also want to thank our Temple member, Bob Bente, who Pastor Gary has known for many years. They are friends, and that's how we met our new friend, Pastor Gary, and we look forward to the friendship continuing for many, many years, Pastor. And so, and while you're putting stuff in the chat box, if you have a question or comment for Pastor Gary, also, if there's something that you learned today that you would like to share, and we can do this anonymously, or you can let me know. If there's something that you learned today that you want to share, something that moved you today, please put that in the chat box, and we'll either share that today or we'll compile your messages and we'll send it out to everybody anonymously. So let's see, I'm going to try to go through my chat box. As many of you know, I'm lucky if I can turn on the heat in the sanctuary. So let me make sure I can make sense of what's in the chat box. Sam, you had a really thoughtful a question. Sam Cooper, Sam, are you comfortable asking that directly? Can I mean, there's Sam. Sam,
Yeah,
could
sure.
you ask your question directly for Pastor Gary?
Okay, so do you think there will be a time in the future where there's no racial discrimination at all?
Wow. Thank you, Sam, for the question. I hope so. I hope so. I have hope. We all have to hold on to our hope that that change will come. And you could be a part of that change. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and Pastor, I mean, we want to help too. You're doing such great work in the Los Angeles area and reading all the wonderful things you're doing. And I know, we're going to talk more, you and I, and we'll talk with Zach and the committee, but let us know how we can help, how you think that we can best help here in Los Angeles and how we can best help, around the country. And Zach and the committee are going to be sending out today. So girls and boys and parents and members of our community, Zach and the committee are going to be sending out next steps that we can take to continue this journey together. So we've only just begun. And you're going to see today those next steps that are coming and ways that we continue. And Pastor Gary, again, we are here to help. We want to help. So please, let us know how we can best help.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Questions or comments for Pastor Gary? Oh, Zach has Zach.
Yeah, Juliana has a comment.
Oh, great.
This was my first ever doll that I ever got.
Juliana's proud that she has a black doll as her first doll.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. Yes.
Wow, that's neat.
Thank you for sharing that.
That's neat, Juliana. What's her name?
Her name?
Yeah, what's her name?
Yeah.
Julie.
Julie, I like that.
Yeah.
Just like
I
me.
like that. Two Julies, and Juliana. Does anybody ever call you Julie?
Nope.
No, it's Juliana. I love that name. Such a beautiful name. And I love your beautiful doll, Julie. All right, so we've got some reading suggestions too that some of the teachers are putting in the chat box, and we're going to be sending out. So all of you, because for some of you who love to read and you want to read more about this, the committee, the Racial Justice Committee, has put together great books to deal with the subjects that we talked about today. So so stay tuned. That's going out this afternoon. I do believe that's right, Jason. That's going out this afternoon.
Right. I also see that Audrey has her hand raised.
Oh, Audrey. All right. Hi, sweetie. Yeah, Audrey, if you want to unmute, or do I need to do that? Hi, Audrey.
So I want to say that I know about Martin Luther King Jr. And also I have a question. Why are Black people slaves and stuff?
Say that again.
Why were Black people enslaved? Like people made them work for them.
Okay. That's a very good question. I wish I had the answer, but it was done because at that time, European people went to Africa and they had advanced weaponry, and they just kind of dominated people unfairly with weapons and forced them into boats and sent them to America and other parts of the world to work for free. Very unfair.
Yeah. Thanks for telling me.
Okay. Thank you for asking the question.
Yeah, thank you, Audrey. That's thank you for asking that. That's a very important question. And there's a lot of things that we may not know about the history. So that's one of the things about Black History Month, is for us to learn every February, but we should be learning in America. We should be learning about this every month, because it's so important to know about the history of this country, because it affects what's going on today, and it's going to affect what's going on tomorrow. So thank you.
By the way, European colonialism still has an impact on Africa today.
Very much so. Very much so. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, okay. Well, thank you. And Pastor Gary, want to give you an opportunity too. Is there anything more that you would like to share, or anything that you would like to say? Oh, Dora, and we have our teacher has a comment as well. One of our teachers.
Mm-hmm.
So Dora, if you would like to make a comment, and then Pastor Gary, if you would like to make any closing remarks, and then Cantor Alyssa is going to end this wonderful day, this special day with a song. So Dora.
Yeah. So part of our discussion and our curriculum for the 7th grade during the year is the ethics around the the mitzvah of pikuach nefesh, saving a life, and specifically, do not stand idly by the blood of your neighbor. And we talk about it in detail. And I just wanted to make a comment about how that can apply very much. So we're learning about pikuach nefesh, saving a life, and not being a bystander, but an upstander, and being anti-racist in particular, and tying that into that. Not only do we talk about how saving lives, part of it's also what is it? Doing everything you can to prevent injury or from other people from not being able to being hurt or not to be alive. And it's the same kind of idea that you make a parapet on your roof. And so we go out of our way. And so part of being anti-racist and saving a life is very much part of the way that we fulfill that mitzvah, along with being a proponent and an upstander regarding Black Lives Matter. So, and I thought it was just very, very beautiful how this is all very much at the core of who we are as a people. And also, we also learn about Jewish American history. So I just wanted to make the comment also that part of our obligation as Jewish Americans is also to fulfill that. So thank you so much for enriching that that discourse in my classroom. That's all.
Thank you, Dora. And this has been just a wonderful experience for me. This is new. I've never done this kind of, had this kind of conversation before, but it was so fruitful. I feel it. And I believe this is beginning a hope of a conversation that the children will have, not just with their teachers, but with their parents. And like you said, become upstanders, where if you see something, say something. Don't get in trouble. Don't get yourself in a situation where you get hurt by intervening, but always be ready to say something when you see something wrong. Racism, bullying, all of those kind of things. Don't let people say things about people around you, things that are ugly and mean, and racist about other people. Don't laugh at jokes like that, because it's not helpful. So if you hear those kind of things, if somebody's saying those things around you, say that you don't, I don't want to hear that. Please stop. And if they don't, walk away. Those are not the kind of friends that you want to be around. If you can't help them, then you have to leave them alone. So I'm just really grateful, Rabbi, for you allowing me to spend time with your school today. And I hope in the future we can do something like this again. And it's so much to learn, so much that we can learn from each other. The world isn't fair, but that's why we are here, to make it fairer for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor. Thank you. And we are so blessed to be with you. And yes, we would love to continue the conversation with you in the future. We want to journey with you. You are our teacher. You are our pastor. And we want to thank you so much for being with us today, and for everybody being with us today. And we had some questions and comments to the continue, but we're looking at the time too. So we're going to forward those questions on to Pastor Gary, and we're going to continue this conversation. And Cantor is going to close this beautiful day today together with some beautiful music.
So those of you who were here a couple weeks ago for our music class may remember this song. It's called Tzedek, Tzedek Tirdof. Now that's a quote from the Bible. Tzedek is often translated either as justice or as righteousness, right? And it says it twice. That's how important it is. And it also deals with some of the themes of some from the text of Deuteronomy. Let justice well up as waters and righteousness as a mighty stream. That imagery of powerful flow of justice and of righteousness in the world. So I know you're all on mute, but if you remember this one, or if you're learning it as we go along, I hope you'll sing along with the chorus. And this is a song by Debbie Friedman, who was quite a visionary in the world of Jewish music. Let justice swell up as waters, and righteousness as a mighty stream. Tzedek, tzedek Tirdof, justice, justice shall we pursue. Let justice swell up as waters, and righteousness as a mighty stream. Tzedek, tzedek Tirdof, justice, justice shall we pursue. Teach me goodness and justice, and we shall make a house of peace. Walk in the way of righteousness, follow the ways of justice. Let justice swell up as waters, and righteousness as a mighty stream. Tzedek, tzedek Tirdof, justice, justice shall we pursue. Let justice swell up as waters, and righteousness as a mighty stream. Tzedek, tzedek Tirdof, justice, justice shall we pursue. Open the gates of righteousness, the skies pour down with righteousness. Let justice spring out of the earth as we search to find the way. Let us follow in the footsteps that were set before us. Let us learn together, and we will find our way. Let justice swell up as waters, and righteousness as a mighty stream. Tzedek, tzedek Tirdof, justice, justice shall we pursue. Let justice swell up as waters, and righteousness as a mighty stream. Tzedek, tzedek Tirdof, justice, justice shall we pursue. Thank you all for joining us today.
Thank you. So let's continue the journey together in justice and in goodness and in peace. And let's all unmute ourselves so we can all thank Pastor Gary for being with us today. Let's all unmute and thank Pastor Gary.
Thank you so much.
Thank
you.
Thank you, Pastor Gary. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you for you being here.
Thank you so much, Audrey. I really appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Bye, everybody. Have a wonderful day.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Take care, rabbis. Talk to you soon.
You too, Pastor. Look forward to it. Thank you again so much. Have a great rest of the day and a wonderful
God
week.
bless everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bless you.
God bless you, Pastor.